Well, this one gets repeated all the time. You need a reel before you can get an agent. Really. And we believe that. This one's kind of a chicken and egg problem, and it freezes people, right? They wait. They tell themselves they'll start contacting agents once they have a professional reel. And they don't think they have high enough quality clips, or they can't afford to pay someone to do the professional editing. So the reel never happens, and they never start reaching out to agents. The irony is that the person who could actually help them get higher quality clips and earn enough to pay for professional editing, well, they never become a part of their team. And so it continues. You see where this goes, right? And the people who never get out of that loop, well, they're everywhere. I've met them. So let me say this plainly. You don't need a reel. You need evidence. Those two things are not the same, and that difference is where most actors get stuck. A reel is a polished, edited package. Clips professionally cut together, sometimes with logos, sometimes with color correction, sometimes assembled by an editor who actually knows what they're doing. That's the artifact people freak out about. And no, you don't need that to get an agent. Evidence is different. Evidence is anything that shows you can show up on a set, hit your mark, and deliver something usable. A list of credits on a resume, even small ones. Raw clips from student films, self-tape audition footage you've held onto, footage from a class showcase, vertical content, anything that says, I've done this. Here's the proof. You can watch it. And if I'm being honest, most good agents, once they see a sample of your work, are going to audition you anyway. You need evidence. You just don't need it cut together with a soundtrack. But here's the part of this myth that is true, and I want to be straight about it before we go any further. To have evidence, you have to have had some work. I mean, if you have absolutely nothing, if you're just sitting at, I decided to get serious about this, you're not ready for an agent. I mean, a good one isn't going to sign you anyways because they only get paid when you get paid. And they're not in the business of taking a swing on somebody who's never booked a thing. And a bad agent, well, a bad agent might sign you, but signing with the wrong agent doesn't fix the problem that you don't have any work to show. And we covered that already in an earlier episode. So before you spend any time or send even one email submitting yourself to an agent, go book some things. Self-submit constantly. Take any real set you can get on. Get to work first, then you have evidence. Then you can have the conversation. Okay, so assuming you've done the work and have some evidence to submit to an agent, let's talk about what an agent actually does when it lands. Now, I'm going to borrow from one of the most useful sessions I sat in on at the Southeast Actor Summit a couple months ago. The speaker was a guy named Jason Lockhart, who is an actual working talent agent at AMT in Atlanta. Roster of about 700 actors. If I'm being honest, including me. So, a person who knows. He said the thing I want every actor in this loop to hear. He gets unsolicited submissions from actors, and I'm quoting here, every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. Now picture that for a second. He's trying to do his actual job, working his existing client list, and every 5 minutes another email lands in his inbox from somebody he's never met, asking him to just drop everything. So what does he do with them? Well, he told the room there's basically 3 flavors of submissions email that he sees, and only one of them may get a response. The first kind, the over-the-top one, 3 paragraphs about you, full credit list, multiple attachments, embedded video links. Watch my reel here, here, and here. Jason's reaction? How dare you assume he's going to stop everything he's doing to read 3 minutes of you and then watch your video? Psh, delete. Second kind, the underseller, tentative, apologetic. I know you're really busy, and I'm probably not good enough, but maybe no headshot, no useful information, no actual human there to grab onto. Pew, delete. The third kind, the one that might work. Brief, human, real. Opens the door to a conversation. But notice what's missing from all 3. A reel. Nobody gets signed or rejected based on the reel in the email. They get signed or rejected based on everything else. Well, here's what Jason said that flat out stopped me too. It's not my job just to prove that the actor is talented. I also have to prove that this is a likable person. He said his entire agency screens for it, and they have let go of actors who could make them serious money because the energy was wrong. Listen to that again. Agents will turn down money to avoid working with somebody who's exhausting. You know what an agent can't tell from a reel? Whether you're going to be the person their casting director friends want in the room, whether you're going to make their day worse every time you call, whether you're someone they can put in front of a producer without bracing for impact. The reel doesn't answer those questions. You answer them with every email, every Zoom call, every meeting, every conversation. Okay, so if you don't have evidence yet, here's how you get it. Get your headshots right first. Real acting headshots, not corporate. And I made that mistake. It cost me money. Don't do it. Self-submit constantly. Actors Access, casting networks, your regional sites. Treat it like a daily habit, not an occasional event. The actors who book are the actors who submit every day for everything they're right for. And I talked about this before, but it bears repeating. On average, 50 submissions per audition, 68 auditions per booking. You can do the math yourself, but that is a lot of submissions on average for every job you book. Submit yourself, a lot. Get on real sets, student films, low-budget shorts. It doesn't matter if it's unpaid. Real footage from a real set reads on camera. And every time you book something, ask for footage. You don't always get it, but you never get it if you don't ask. Even copies of your audition tapes, build the file. Consider the verticals market. Brett Newton, another Summit speaker, working actor and producer, walked us through this. 3 U.S. companies were producing scripted vertical mobile series 2.5 years ago. Today, there are over 70. Disney and Fox have already shot 6 episodes in Atlanta with Drama Box. SAG-AFTRA brought it under union coverage in October of 25. That's real, paid, organized work that didn't exist 2 years ago. And every one of those gigs is evidence. And the footage is much easier to get too. Well, then look at the smaller agencies, the ones who actively develop newer talent. Don't go after the biggest agencies in town with 3 credits to your name. Sign with somebody who will actually submit you, build more credits throughout that work, and move up later if you need to. And here's the personal version. I got my first agent while I was in the Mid-Atlantic region without a reel. I had headshots, eventually the right ones, a couple of raw clips from student films and indie shorts, and a list of self-submission bookings I'd done from my spare bedroom. Well, that was the package. No edited reel, just evidence. The agent didn't sign me because I dazzled them with footage. They signed me because the headshots were finally right, the conversation was easy, and I didn't oversell. And there was actual evidence I was already doing the work without anybody holding my hand. By the time I signed in other regional markets, I had a reel because I'd put in the time, because I'd booked things. The reel was a byproduct of the work, not a prerequisite for it. By the time I signed with AMT, it wasn't my reel that got me signed. They sent me sides to audition with. Then we had an interview on Zoom. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting until you have the perfect polished reel before you reach out to an agent, stop. Get your headshots right, start booking the small stuff, and keep the footage if you can get it. Build a real resume, even if it's student films and unpaid indie shorts, and then write a short, human, second circle, look it up, it's fascinating, email to a regional agent who actually develops actors. Be the kind of person they want to spend a 5-minute phone call with. The reel will come. The work makes the reel doesn't make the work. The reel isn't the door. You are. Hey, you want to go deeper? Well, I wrote more about this at gary-mason.com/blog. The link is in the description. New myths busted every week. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.